Hello and welcome back to another Toon World video. In today's video we'll be talking about the villain known as Retak. So here we have Retak, who is the original master of the elements before Bubble Boy. Fun fact here, his name Retak comes from the Malay word retak, which means crack. So he first appears in Bubble Boy the movie too, and he is the main villain throughout the whole film. First, we'll be showing you the evolution of Retak, or how he grows up and ages. This is him as a small child, and then he ages and becomes a young adult, and then later what we see, he has become an old person. This is after over 100 years of being entrapped inside a crystal. So he actually grew up on a planet called Gugura with his best friend Hankasa, and then eventually later in his life as a child he found Gamma Bot, which is a power sphere that granted him the power of Gamma, which is the light element, the third level of light element. So with the Gamma powers, Retak became a powerful elemental user, but later he became greedy, he became power hungry. He proceeded to steal other elemental powers from other elemental users, collecting many elemental powers within him, and then he even tried to steal his friend's powers. He tried to steal Hankasa's power, but then he got defeated and all his elemental powers were absorbed into Ochobot, and Retak himself got imprisoned inside a crystal that Hankasa created. So he was trapped for 100 years, and then he was released over 100 years later, and that event kick-started the Bubble Boy the movie too, the events in the film. So what we're going to do right now is look at all the 7 elements that Retak has mastered. Starting with the light element, we got fire element, ice element, leaf element, wind element, we've got crystal or earth element, and also the lightning element. So we'll go through each of them one by one. First of all, the light element, which is the power of Gamma. So number 1, this is Retak Gamma, which is light elemental powers. Gamma is the 3rd level of light element. It is the first ever elemental power that Retak ever got, and its specialty is that it can absorb other people's powers. So let's look at how this light element has actually traveled between people. So first it was inside Gamma Bot, and then Retak got Gamma Bot and took those powers, and then Retaka's powers were absorbed into Ochobot by Hankasa's doing, and then this power was later transferred into Bubble Boy. So Bubble Boy became Bubble Boy Light or Bubble Boy Solar afterwards. So we are done with the light element. So let's move on to the leaf element. Here we have Retak Bala, also known as Retak Darkwood. This is the 3rd level of the leaf element. This is how he looks like, and this is a more powerful version of him. After Retak regained these powers, he went on to power up his leaf elemental powers at planet Rimbara. This is how the leaf elemental powers has traveled between users. First it was inside an unnamed power sphere, and then it went into this Bala elemental master that we don't know his name yet, and then Retak stole those powers from the elemental master, and then those leaf powers went into Ochobot by Hankasa's doing, and then these powers went into Bubble Boy. So Bubble Boy became Bubble Boy Leaf or Bubble Boy Thorn. And then we talk about planet Rimbara. Planet Rimbara is a planet full of nature and greenery. Its inhabitants are the Chandana people, the Chandana creatures. This is the planet that Retak used to power up his leaf elemental powers. So we are done with leaf, and then we go on to the next element, which is wind. Here we have Retak Bliong, which is the 3rd level of wind element. Retak regained these powers after reabsorbing the wind element from Bubble Boy Cyclone, and then he went on to level up at planet Bayugan. So this is how the wind element has traveled through the users. First we have an unnamed power sphere, and then it went into an elemental master that we haven't seen a proper look yet, only the shadow of him. And then Retak stole those powers, and then Hankasa absorbed those powers into Ochobot, and then the power went into Boboiboy, making him Boboiboy Wind and Boboiboy Cyclone. And then we'll talk about planet Bayugan, which was used to level up. This is a planet powered by wind. It has two layers. The lower layer has these wind turbines, and then the upper layer has land that is actually floating in the air. So this planet is inhabited by the Bayugan race, and this is the Bayugan king that we are showing here. Now we are done with wind, so next we will be talking about the lightning element, represented by Retak Voltra. Here is Retak Voltra, master of the lightning element, the third level of lightning element to be exact. Retak went on to power up his lightning powers at planet Gurlatan in the Boboiboy the movie 2, and this is how the lightning element has traveled. First it was in an unnamed power sphere, and then it went into an electric elemental master. We see his silhouette here, and then Retak absorbed those powers, and then like before Hankasa absorbed those powers into Ochobot, and then Ochobot gave these lightning elemental powers to Boboiboy, so we get Boboiboy Lightning and Boboiboy Thunderstorm. So about planet Gurlatan, it is a planet that is powered by electricity or lightning, as we see in a generator here. The planet is guarded by an elite army known as the Guruhan army. These are very powerful warriors, but however, as powerful as they are, they were defeated by Retak. That's all for the lightning element. So we move on to the next element, which is crystal, or which is actually the higher level of earth and quake element. So here we have Retak crystal. This is the third level of earth element. Retak actually got this power late in the series because he initially tried to get these powers from his friend Hankasa but failed, and then all his elemental powers were absorbed into Ochobot. So he got this power in the last minute in the film. First, these powers were contained inside Crystal Bot, and then Hankasa, when he was young, he found these powers, he found Crystal Bot and took these powers, and then these powers got into Ochobot. Hankasa did this himself while he was fighting Retak, and then these powers were transferred into Boboiboy, making him Boboiboy Earth and Boboiboy Earthquake, and then these powers were reabsorbed by Hankasa when he was old, and then these powers were taken by Retak. Now let's get a move on to the final two elements. Here we have the fire element. It is sad to say that we don't get to see Retak in his fire form. We only know that it is a fire element, but we don't see Retak getting this form because he failed to regain these powers. He failed to absorb these powers from Boboiboy. So this is how these powers traveled. It was inside an unnamed power sphere, and then it went into this elemental master, the fire elemental master, that we haven't properly seen yet, and then it was stolen by Retak, and then Retak's powers went into Ochobot as usual, and then these powers went into Boboiboy, making him Boboiboy Fire and Boboiboy Blaze. So we don't get to see Retak in his fire form. Next we move on to the final element, which is water or ice element. Like the case of fire, we don't get to see Retak in this form. We only know that it is the water element or ice element, which is its higher form. it isn't shown yet in the franchise. So Retak failed to regain these powers. These powers were initially inside an unnamed power sphere, and then it went into an ice elemental master that we haven't seen yet properly. And then power hungry Retak took these powers, and then he was defeated by Hankasa. Hankasa absorbed these powers into Ultrabot, and Ultrabot gave these powers to Bobo Boy, making him Bobo Boy Water and Bobo Boy Ice. So now we are done with the 7 elemental powers of Retak. So now let's look at them one by one. We're just showing you a side-by-side comparison of the different elemental forms of Retak. It is interesting to note that when he transforms into these elemental forms, his physical appearance actually changes. His hair, his body, his arms, his legs. This is different with Bobo Boy, who only changes his clothes, but his physical appearance doesn't actually change, right? So make sure you share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.